I'd like to invite you all to stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Curran,
Here.
Mr. Sear,
Here.
Mr. Barnes,
Present.
Mr. Fanton, Mrs. Hanchett,
Here?
Mrs. Ricketts Swales,
Here.
Mr. Stockin. Here. 6 present, 1 absent.
Mr. Chairman, you requested the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my great delight to share with you the announcement that's come about in the last 24 hours. I got an email yesterday from someone in Albany, out of the governor's and DOT offices, that wanted a quote because the governor was announcing $8.6 million for the bridge in Belfast. And we sent that quote back in at 7:30 this morning, and I got an immediate response from the guy's cell phone, thank you. And then we've been waiting and waiting, but we hadn't heard anything, and then just discovered it was in the Olean paper, copy of that. And, and Andrew Harris has been asking questions about it, so the word is out there, and we're very, very pleased to announce this. It comes about as a result of the very good work, strong efforts from DOT, from our representatives here in the state and the federal representatives as well. And with all their input, then the governor made the decision, and we will be getting $8.6 million towards the bridge in Belfast, which is unbelievable, but we're very, very thankful for that. So
Very good.
Thank you.
A good announcement.
I can just add that the governor's website has updated, and that official press brief is now on the governor's website as well.
Yeah, that makes it maybe a sure thing. Okay. First thing, I'll need approval of minutes. I can ask for a motion on that. Gretchen, and a second. Gary? Okay. Any additions or corrections? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Craig Rack did submit a report, or supposedly submitted a report, right? And, but I don't see him. So we'll pass by, and Scott, you're on the hook.
You have my monthly report in there. Most of our time right now is working on annual reports for the county and the state. And we're currently exploring grant opportunities that are available to farms in the county. So we'll be working on those over the next couple months. And our Farmland Protection Board met to review and approve the update to the Ag District 2 report. So that's
Yeah.
been our primary focus.
Yeah, I have one question on, just a question on the, whoops, wrong page. On the ag report,
Yep.
there's a 2,727 acre increase.
Yes.
Is that normal to, I mean, we're not talking, there's only about 10,000, owned by farmers. Is it all owned by farmers, or is it?
Not all of it.
Right.
Part of there was a large increase. The owners of the land around Belvedere, they re-enrolled their property in it, so that was,
Oh, that came back in?
yes,
Yeah,
that was
okay.
several hundred acres.
Yeah.
And every year, every time we do this, there's always some landowners that missed out before that put their land in, so
Okay,
it's about on par.
all right, just now every 8 years you do this, can people add or subtract land in the middle of that 8 years, any?
There's a time period, I believe, in October where they can. I've never really had anybody express any interest in that.
I was gonna say, like, if somebody wanted to cut out a chunk for a housing development or something like that?
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of interest in that, so.
I think you can add to it every year with an annual enrollment, but you can only opt out every 8 years. But that doesn't mean you have to use it specifically for ag purposes during that 8-year time frame. You can use it for other purposes.
Right.
But you are in the ag district until we do a review every 8 years.
Okay,
Mr. Kern?
yes.
Scott, with all the solar projects, and this has come up in the town of Alfred, and some concern expressed that they're going on prime farmland. Is that at any concern with your department at all, or is it anything to be concerned about?
So when a solar development is happening on agriculture district land, we get a notice. I mean, we can submit what we think about it, but Department of Ag and Markets makes the final determination, and they're the ones that say whether it can happen or not. So we don't have a lot of say in that.
Okay. Any other questions for Scott? Okay, we have a MOE here for you.
Thank you. That's actually, I believe, my MOE, acting on the report that Scott filed. You will need to have a public hearing on this report before
Right.
you can approve the ag district. So this will be asking your clerk of the board to set a date for the public hearing. Will be a resolution once we figure out the date for that.
Okay, you don't want to, should we approve this and then you'll set the date?
I don't think you need to approve the report. You're just receiving the report.
Okay. Okay,
I do believe you'll want a resolution requesting the public hearing though, and we will fill in the date after we've had a chance to look at the calendar a little bit better. It looks like we are looking at either March 9th or March 23rd possibly.
okay, could I get a motion to approve receipt of this plan and tentative date?
Mr. Kern, I'll make a motion.
Okay, Jen's first and Adam second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. I think that's it, Scott.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Brian, how are you?
Wonderful.
Good.
I
Good to hear.
had to reorient myself here for a minute. Saw people going up there. I was wondering what was happening.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, good afternoon, everyone. And I did have my report submitted, and you've got that there. I'll hit just a couple things on it there. The youth advocacy, it's this week in Albany that, well, it normally would be in Albany. It was already planned to go remote before anything had changed, so they stuck with that. But there's been, just general meetings that they've had, Zoom calls with their legislators, things like that. Actually, Senator Borrello's office declined to meet with us because he just said, I've always got your guys' back, and he's always been really good with the Youth Bureau funds. He's like, I've got some other things I got to deal with. You guys are set. Don't worry about it. So knowing him, he's true to his word on that, and we've got nothing to worry about there with his support. So we're happy to be moving forward with that. I did mention Jeff Lucky approached me about looking into starting something for recruitment with youth for the volunteer fire service and EMS. And with me being a volunteer firefighter myself and being the Youth Bureau guy, there's probably a way that we can connect some dots and come together. So he's asked me to come sit in on those committees when they're having those meetings and starting to work towards a plan. So another thing that did make it on the report, it actually kind of just happened this morning, is I got reached out to by someone who's going to be coming in and doing some presentations in the schools. And unbeknownst at the time, I think, to some people, he just happened to catch up talking to somebody in Andover who knew that I was the Stop DWI guy, and he said, oh, you should talk to Brian. So he's going to be coming into the schools and now has invited me along because his message has some Stop DWI pieces to it. So I'll have a phone call with him tomorrow to see what we can do to get connected and see what schools he's going into. But that's kind of, it's more of a Stop DWI, but every once in a while, there's those times where my Stop DWI hat and my Youth Bureau hat come together. So when people are going into the schools, that, it's that logical connection, so.
Right. Very good. Do you know this fella?
No, I've never met him before. This is the first time I've even heard his name, so I'm kind of waiting to see how the conversations are gonna go. But, if the schools are bringing him in and talking, then I'd be happy to go along and see what the message is.
Be interested to hear what the message is.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll fill you in more about it. I just, we're just getting into the talks, so.
Okay. Anything else?
I've got nothing.
Anything for Brian? All set?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And Laura?
Hi there.
Hi.
Got to bring it down to short. So in addition to the things that we submitted, looking forward a little bit, we have the Rural Landowners Conference, which is always like the first weekend in March. It's held over at the Pioneer School. It's usually a big draw, well over 100, 150 attendees, but with it being in person, we'll see. We're expecting a smaller crowd this year. We have 7 new board members this year, so we had a board training last night that I think went well. Nobody nodded off, so that's always a plus. Every year, the executive directors across the state go to Albany and meet with our elected officials. This year, we did that virtually as we did last year. So on the Valentine's week, we do it as a region. So Livingston, Wyoming, and us over to Chautauqua met with our elected officials, and that was good for those who showed up. And then next month is Nutrition Month, so we have a bunch of neat programs that our nutrition staff are going to be putting together to reach out to the public.
Okay. So what's the best way for someone who maybe comes here new or has lived here all their lives to get your information,
As far as get our newsletter and stuff,
Yeah, just
give us a ring. You can go to the website. We have an email on the website, allegheny.cornell.edu. That's probably the best. We're also on Facebook. We don't do any of the other social media platforms.
okay.
Are you looking to join our newsletter receiving population?
I actually had someone ask me about it.
Okay.
in
I used
the
to stick
store.
it in everybody's mailbox, but then when
Yeah.
COVID hit, it sort of got
Set
pushed to the
aside.
side, so I can start that up again if you'd like.
Yeah, I had
Because
a,
I remember Legislator Root commenting once that not only did she read the entire newsletter, but she actually did the recipe that was in it, which was the first time I had ever heard anybody say that, which was,
good for you,
I
Deb.
guess, kind of sad that it was the first time I had ever heard anybody say that. So
Yeah.
that was neat.
Good. Okay. and
So I think we have
we have a memorandum here.
yep.
All of you have seen that. That's a memorandum of agreement for a little bit of money coming from Allegheny County to Cornell Cooperative at $278,000. And I guess I need a movement on that. Gretchen?
I'll second that.
Okay, Adam seconds it. Any discussion? Any questions? Brooke? Yep.
Can you just refresh our memories on your funding in general? How much you get from the state, how much you get from the county, et cetera?
I can. So, as you saw in our budget that was submitted for 2022, and there have been a couple minor changes to this since it was submitted. So we get 278 ideally from the county. We have not asked for an increase in this in several years. I believe when we split with Cattaraugus, we did ask for a supplemental appropriation that then brought us up to 278 in the following year, which would have been 2016 or 2017. We've stayed at that amount since then. From the state, we get our state 224 appropriation, which is the money that goes through Cornell that we get just shy of $60,000 from them. All of our fringe benefits that are paid by Cornell account for $271,000. And our New York State contracts are, which this does include SNAP. So our SNAP contract is $300,000 and it covers Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and Allegheny. So that's at $437,000. So I would say that all of the state contracts would be, so 300 for SNAP, and then we've got Farm to School, we have an Ag in the Classroom, we have some, I think that would be it, that would be included in that. Federally, we get through Smith Lever, which is the, as everybody knows, that was in the training last night, is the act that created the land grant system in what year? Like 1912, 1914, so, okay. And that was, it was fun. It was fun. That was at $16,000. Our FNEP program, which is the expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program, we get 58, and that is for an educator and all of the things they need to hold that program. SNAP is actually listed under that as well, which it shouldn't be. So, other things which include program and enrollment fees, fundraising, sales, other small local grants, that totals about $128,000. So I don't have the graph in front of me that shows it nicely, but the count, you used to be about a third, but now the state and our other grants definitely are contributing more than the county is.
A follow-up question, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
Is that typical in Western New York, say, or upstate in general, that county shares have been flat for recent history?
I think that is entirely variable depending on the county. I do have a little bit of a spreadsheet for the counties that are considered our comps as far as not having a metropolitan area being about 48,000 in population and what their appropriation is from the county. And ours is actually lower than other counties of our size and programmatic size. But I can get that information to you if you'd like it, because it is pretty interesting.
Would appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions for Laura? Okay, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Brenda, shall I do a roll call vote? Okay, opposed? Hearing none, well, that's passed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, old business? New business? Good of the order. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Nobody wants to adjourn?
I can't say the fancy thing, though.
Jen moves it, second.
Second.
Gretchen? All those in favor?
Aye.
We are